folks, Chris from Maple Street Guitars in Atlanta, Georgia here, and today our video looks a little bit different than it normally does. Typically I'd be shooting videos at our photo room over at the store, but today I'm in my apartment, in my very modest and meager studio, my music room, and we're doing something a little bit different. This video is celebrating my first new guitar day in a couple years. Just last week, I picked up this Squier, oh, there goes the tremolo, this Squier Classic Vibe 60s Jazzmaster. Now, Lindsay at the store also has himself a Squier Jazzmaster that he hot-rodded, souped up everything, and that's something that I want to do, and we figured maybe we'll document this process. So, why a Jazzmaster? Well, the Jazzmaster is a guitar that I've really been a fan of for a long time. Something about the unique shape, certainly the unique sound, really appealed to me. And I've always been a fan of stuff that isn't necessarily, the most popular. I was never a Strat or a Les Paul kind of guy. I liked the things that were always kind of in the middle. So to me, the Jazzmaster being, just left to center seemed like a pretty cool kind of thing to get into. Also, a couple of my favorite guitar players use them, most notably Mike Einziger of the band Incubus switched to one for the Crow Left of the Murder album, and that's really what I'm going for with this particular guitar. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the process and what I plan to do, as well as play this thing a little bit for you. So some folks may be wondering why this specific Jazzmaster. I'm such a Jazzmaster fan, why not go for an American Professional or something of that sort? And there were certain feature sets that I was really looking for that surprisingly I found in this Classic Vibe model. To me, the biggest thing right off the bat was I wanted an Olympic white guitar with a tortoiseshell pickguard. That's the one that I associate the most with my hero Mike Einziger that I mentioned there, and that was definitely, to me, the look of the Classic Jazzmaster. I wanted a more modern fretboard radius, so that kind of knocked out the Ventera model that had a 7¼ inch radius on the Olympic white model. And also I knew that there were certain things that I was going to change about the guitar no matter what. I knew I was going to put a Mastery vibrato system in there. I know I wanted to put Lawler pickups in there, so it's like I could have gone for an American Original or something of that sort, but kind of why would I spend all that money when I'm going to be, swapping out some parts and stuff. Also, the Jazzmaster isn't a thing that I expect to be my daily ride, my main guitar. I'm not sure if or how this guitar will fit in with my band in the Presence of Wolves. Certainly curious to see how it does, but I like the idea of maybe doing something a little bit less expensive just to have the Jazzmaster as part of the toolkit, and then just soup it up to sort of fit my needs. So we settled on this guitar, and first impressions when I got it out of the box at the store were that it needed a little bit of work. These come set up with 9s, and definitely had some excess relief in the neck. That was something that was very easily remedied, luckily. There's always that moment if it's a new guitar day for one of us at the store when the guitar comes in, is like, is it going to be 100% what I want it to be? Something that's going to happen in shipping, all that kind of stuff. So luckily, we did all the work, and it seemed like a really good example right out of the bat, just like all of the stuff that we put out on the floor of the store. So George did his magic, set this up with 10s for me, and right off the bat, it's actually been a really impressive guitar. I plugged it into a Dr. Z at the store, and lots of folks were commenting on how great it sounded. So that's certainly something that I don't know if I was necessarily expecting from a Squier model, but I think goes to show what a tremendous value some of these guitars can be. One of the things that really surprises me is just how resonant this guitar is acoustically. I mean, really has a loud projection to it without even incorporating an amp or anything like that, which is nice for me. I play a lot of times unplugged, particularly when I practice. I like to not have any reverb or distortion masking what I'm doing, with the kind of general idea that if what I'm playing sounds good on the guitar unplugged, it's only going to sound better when it's plugged in. So yeah, I've been really excited about this one. I've been waiting for a while for it, obviously with all the shortages of parts and instruments and everything. Wasn't sure when this guitar would be showing up, so I'm really excited to get into it. And why don't we take a listen now to how it sounds, kind of in its totally stock format. Thank you. the plan for this guitar moving forward? Well, the first thing that I plan to do is modify the electronics. That's something that Lindsay did with his. He had Jake just gut everything, put the Lawler pickups in there, replace the pots, everything. So I already have the Lawler Jazzmaster pickups in my box over at work. The kind of debate right now is it's tough to get another 1 meg pot. We have one CTS 1 meg pot at the store right now, as well as some lesser quality ones, and that's something that I'm kind of back and forth on with the Jazzmaster. Some folks don't know necessarily that these use 1 meg pots as opposed to most other Fender single coil guitars will use a 250K pot, which is makes this guitar a lot brighter. Certainly something that I wasn't expecting. Most folks don't necessarily expect from a guitar called a Jazzmaster. Much brighter in its overall sound because those 1 meg pots let a lot of treble through. And that's something that's really distinct to this guitar and something that I want to kind of maintain as best I can. So I'm kind of back and forth on if I want to do just one CTS 1 meg and maybe another CTS 500K in the tone knob, or if I want to just maybe leave one of these until I can find another one and get in here and swap that out. But that's the plan for the electronics. Like I said, the Lawler pickups in particular. Definitely looking to do a mastery bridge and tailpiece for this, as well as the string tree. That's something that, again, Lindsay installed on his, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. The trem system is so smooth. Definitely a little jealous and eager to put that in here. Also probably going to swap out the tuners for some Gotos. And other than that, you know, it's really, really good as is, and there really aren't that many other parts to mess with. I'm not too worried about it saying Squier on the headstock as opposed to Fender. Like I said, if the guitar is exciting me the way that it is, why not just leave it there? I don't feel like swapping out a neck or anything. The neck already feels great, and there's nothing to do there. So that's the plan moving forward. Like I said, today's Wednesday, so I'll be back in the store tomorrow. The plan is to have Jake do this pretty soon, if not tomorrow. So that'll probably be the next installment. Not sure if this is going to be a multi-part video or a single-part documentary on the Jazzmaster, but that's the next step, and we're going to follow things along and see kind of how each of these little improvements does and how much better it makes the guitar. So thanks for tuning in and tuning along, and we'll see you next time.